Well, good day, good evening, good morning, wherever people may be in the world today. I'm Brian Kalish. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. We're going to have a fantastic conversation. The topic for today is Hyperbots Accruals Processing Co-Pilot. Again, quick background on myself, Brian Kalish. I've been involved in the FP&A, Treasury, Investor Relations space for the past 30 years, have been partnering with Hyperbots over the last 2 years. And today we have just a wonderful opportunity to kind of dive in a little bit deeper about accruals processing. With us here today is Mike Vesic. If I may have mispronounced your name, sir, I apologize. He's one of the founding design partners and a seasoned CFO based in the Bay Area here in the United States. He brings with him a very deep expertise across global manufacturing, technology, service sectors, having held senior finance leadership roles at Synex, eBay, Cativa, and Direct Line Global. His background spans FP&A, M&A, Treasury, tax, investor relations. We have very similar backgrounds, ERP systems. He currently advises startups and VCs, including Hyperbots. Mike, a pleasure to be with you today.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely. I didn't know if you wanted to add anything else to that.
Enough.
Great. So, our audience really, they really want to understand how Hyperbots invoice processing co-pilot is truly not just changing, but really transforming the AP, the accounts payable function. Let's just jump right into the details. One of the challenges, that I see, and I've had the good fortune of traveling around the world, is here we are in 2025. Mike, why is the month-end accruals still a challenge for finance teams?
Yeah, so it's just like it all depends like how you put this accrual process for the company. Because there are quite a few companies, they have a manual process, Excel-driven process. So what happened that at the month end, like let's focus, there are two types of the accrual, I would say. There are multiple types of accrual, but I will focus on the only two types. One is more on the inventory or product, and the other one is like a non-product or non-inventory or service type of thing. So for the product and inventory, that could be an easy process, a little bit compared to the non-product or non-inventory, because you have a goods received note, or you have when you receive the goods, it's automatically enter the inventory entry and received but not invoice type of and transaction. So that should not have a significant impact. But the major impact you will see it where you do not have a goods received, or when you have received the goods, but you do not have any goods received note or not received any other documentation, that creates the problem of creating the accrual. There are quite a few things you can say. It's an all Excel-driven process quite a few times. Some ERP is doing it. There's a volume of the transaction, timing of the accrual, because generally quite a few companies would like to close the books within first 3 days and 3 to 5 days and finish the accrual in 3 days. So these are the and a cutoff date for the accrual. So these are some of the challenges you will see it. More challenges you will see it like a service or non-inventory. Like if you're having like some legal accrual or accounting services accrual or any consulting accrual, you need to coordinate with that respective department and say how much service you have received, because there is a blanket PO, or sometimes PO will not give you what the service has been received and whether we received the invoices or not. So those are I would suggest that are more of the challenging type of thing. Other one is like more on the auditor documentation, because accrual auditors are looking at very detailed and minutely, that they do not like the general accruals. So these are some of the challenges what I would suggest that companies facing it right now, unless they have some of the automated process with the ERP or AI type of.
Absolutely. I mean, again, it to me, it's a fascinating time period, right? Because if I may be so bold to think that we're contemporaries, we've spent the last 30 years really dealing with this problem day in and day out. And I think we're truly, in an environment where, with the advantages of AI, we're kind of living, I don't know if you would agree or not, kind of living in the industrial revolution in real time. I mean, what we're talking about is truly transformational. With that said, I think one of the things the audience really wants to understand from you is, what is Hyperbots Accrual Co-Pilot? I mean, really, what does it do for us, and what is it?
So Hyperbot provides like a pretty unique solution for the Accrual Co-Pilot. Of course, there are quite a few other companies who have been doing same way. But if you look at the focus on the Hyperbots Co-Pilot, it calculates the accrual automatically. by what is the outstanding invoices are, what's the PO, what's the goods receipt note, and based on that, it will calculate automatically. It's also continuously learning. So from the prior accrual or prior any experience when they forecast the accrual and making sure that its accrual has been done correctly. It also predicts the accrual, like what's the based on the trend, what's going on for the last month, or any seasonality when they will make sure that they will ask the question that whether this accrual has been done properly, and also the best also the any variance that have been created from month over month. Hyperbots Copilot will look into that one and say making sure that why is just like the significant variation on that. That provides the guidance with through the chat box or through the messaging system, then making sure that accrual has been done. The other unique feature for the agent workflow for the non-inventory accrual. So instead of like, as I said in my previous question, that people are calling each department, hey, what's the accrual for this, for the services, for the consulting, or any other non-inventory? Hyperbots keep sending the message, or you can just chat with the agent workflow and then make this process a lot faster versus waiting for the people for the getting the email email responses or phone call or any other documentation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think one of the ways that I think people can understand, or it'll be clear to them, can you kind of map out kind of the end-to-end flow of the Copilot?
Absolutely. So if I go not in specific order, but if like it configures it's a configurable policy. So for the goods and services, for any recurring, any cutoff, it will configure the policy, and based on the policy, it will guide what the accrual of that. The other one is smart engine accrual. So what happens, the daily, weekly, monthly, auto adjusted, all those accrual for any timing, they will adjust. There are quite a few companies like 445 type of cutoff versus month end cutoff. They will auto adjust for the weekends and making sure that all accrual has been done for the proper timings. It also do the accrual discovery on the goods receipt note or recurring non-PO or pending invoices scenario. Dynamic GL coding. So it will suggest the coding also for the GL when sometimes it's based on the prior history, is automated booking, and then all the exceptions workflow and notification. And also it's like a hash and audit trail it provides. So it just have a lot more benefit for this Copilot, but there are some of the things what I have done it that gives like pretty unique feature and making sure that all the accruals has been done properly.
No, thank you. That really, I'm kind of a visual person, so it kind of, it maps it out for me visually. So I appreciate that. So one of the things I also hear, again, and what's fantastic about this is whether it's here in North America or in India or in the Middle East, it's not just proof of concept, it's really proof of value, right? So it's not POC, it's really POV. So with the Hyperbots Co-Pilot, how would you describe what the real value proposition is here?
So I would define in that two different, first the intangible benefit and the tangible benefit. Let's put it this way. So like of course it achieves a lot more operational efficiencies by using the Hyperbot Copilot. But there are like always, I use the word like dollar and cents and not always look at dollar and cents. So doing that, I think let's focus first of all the intangible benefit. So one of the things focusing on the human error, because in accounting field, accrual accuracy is significantly required. If there's a human error, like in a manual process, it is pretty high, versus in a Hyperbot Copilot, error is pretty minimum, because once you have get trend and continuation of the same process, and then it's just figure out what's the issue would be, the human error is pretty low. Auditability is pretty good because auditors are asking for the proper audit trail for each transaction. With this Copilot, you can have like a pretty good audit trail on that. I think the timing is the other critical issue. You can focus on the timing. It's pretty fast process on the accrual. Instead of spending 2-3 days, that this can be done pretty faster once this like for the inventory as well as non-inventory. With this agent workflow, you can have like all those process can be created lot better. And then also the month end, like people doing a file drill for the accrual. Hey, have you done this? Has this done or not? Versus this process creates a very automation process. So it's pretty lots of intangible benefit. I can keep talking for another 20 minutes also. But I would say these are some of the high level intangible benefit. The other thing, when we all focus, all this finance profession, we focus on what's the cost, because we don't want to spending the money on the system implementation when there is no benefit on the cost. People have seen people who have implemented the Hyperbots solution. I think they have seen the significant improvement in the processing cost and pretty reduction in the cost also. And then also on the variance control side also. There's lots of benefits you can see it, but one of the thing I would say define in a single sentence or a couple of words is it creates a lot more operational efficiency. And operational efficiencies include the intangible benefits as well as the cost benefit.
So, the Copilot identifies, every single, scenario with AI, wiping out, over and under booking. It's interesting. It's almost like the old Pareto rule, right? It's going to take care of on the straight through about 80%. As we kind of get into the next question, I think that's one of the considerations people have to have is this isn't a replacement for everything, right? It's the benefit of taking out 80% of what we potentially could be doing, and then really focusing our people on the 20% that really matters. So with that in mind, how does that shift take place from an ownership perspective? I mean, before to an after implementation from, what I would call the AI worker or agent is doing versus what humans were doing?
So I would say, at a very high level is AI automation. But if you can go step by step, like all those processes, what we're doing the accrual on the accrual run or the matching the goods receipt note or the service PO for manual processes, all the booking, some of the accrual entries, these are all human processes, all manual process. And sometimes the time-consuming process. AI can create this, like all those process automated, like, and create a lot efficient process. And then so for the AI agent workflow can create the communication so easy instead of sending back and forth email and confirming everything is done or not. This is like this Copilot will create a lot more automation and process a lot faster.
Excellent. So when we think about, again, we're talking about gains, and we're talking about whether we want to call them tangible, intangible, soft, or hard. What are the real key functional capabilities really powering the gains here by leveraging AI?
So there are lots of functional capability. Let me highlight some of the critical one. So it configurable policies and then cutoff cadence. So it configures the policy based on the company's what the policy should be for the accrual and making sure what's the proper cutoff would be. It's a discovery of the goods, services, and recurring and pending invoices. It's a dynamic GL coding, automated booking, making sure validate the posting, and then also the real-time reversal. Reversal may not be a significant issue because there are quite a few ERPs doing the automated reversal. So I want that as more on the powering gain, but automated booking and validate the posting is a very critical for that. Also for the reach notification, gives the manual portal for the option. It's called this dashboard and then HashChain audit trail. These are the things very critical and very functional capabilities for this solution and making sure that this will create a lot more operational efficiency.
Oh, great. That really kind of clarifies it. So again, from the audience's perspective, one of the things we truly want to understand is anytime we're bringing in new technology, how is that going to impact my current environment, my current tech stack? I mean, really, what's the ERP integration experience that you've seen in the work that you've done?
So and if I focus specifically for the Hyperbots solution on the AI implementation, I would say there are quite a few companies start adopting this solution. Like example, NetSuite that can be live in like 8 to 10 business days, SAP and Dynamics 365, the connectors and drag and drop mapping. So this is a solution where you can add on to any ERP system, and it all depends on the ERP system, but I won't say any significant nightmare or a process issue to add on or bolt on this solution. This could be an easily solution and it can be customized based on the individual requirements. So it's not the one size fits all that, I want to do, these are the only 5 steps here to do the add-on. It all be configurable and customized based on the customer's requirement. And then implementation time, it all depends on the ERP system, but maybe between like 1 week to less than a couple of months, depends on the ERP systems.
Sure. I mean, again, as we know, that's what everyone wants to know. And I think it's important, and again, correct me if I'm mistaken, but it's the advantage of we're not replacing this as an add-on, right? Because what everyone is terrified of, right, is I've got to tear something out and rebuild it. Kind
So
of
people
leading
should
in.
know this is not that this
Go
is an
ahead.
add-on solution. This is not the ERP. So people need ERP for doing their transactional processing. This is giving the more efficiency by add-on solution and create the automation.
Absolutely. So it kind of leads me into my next thought, which is why hyperbots versus legacy methods that already exist today.
So one word is again operational efficiency. Hyperbots create a lot more operational efficiency, cost efficiency, timing, speed, good audit trail, reduce the workload for the headcounts, and then eliminate all those manual process. And then other differentiation between the hyperbots and legacy method, like if you go on the any ERP, is it more on the license-based cost, or you have to buy certain licenses? Here is a pay per the transaction, and there's no license fees or no seat fees type of thing. So there's another significant benefit for the using the Hyperbots Accrual Copilot.
No, thank you. Because some of the numbers that I've seen, 2 weeks, to replace the spreadsheets, 2 days off to close the calendar, variance is now under 5%. I mean, that's really, the Hyperbots delta. I mean, that's what I'm seeing.
I don't like to, I'm not using the specific number because some company has like significant efficiencies also, and some, it depends on the timing, how you implement. But overall, with my experience and what I've been seeing with the Hyperbots, people are creating a lot more cost and operational efficiency in timings and processing and audit trail.
Well, Mike, I really appreciate your time today. I know the audience certainly appreciates it. So, you've really showed us how agentic AI, really not only slashes costs, but brings what's really important to finance, the Office of Finance, precision and calm, right? We were talking about challenges, but bringing calm to the month end. So I just want to thank you again for detailing how Hyperbots Accruals Co-Pilot is able to achieve this. Any final thoughts that you wanted to share with the audience before we wrap for today?
No, so this is the like now we are in a era where we have to automation quick, faster, and then that creates like everything we want to. Actions we want to get rid of the manual process, but create a lot more efficiency in making sure that all this process has been done a lot faster. And with the help of technology and I think we can achieve that versus staying in a like when we are doing this like in late 80s, early 90s, or even early 2000s, people were doing it different processes versus this kind of create the month end pretty smooth and efficient.
Great. Well, again, thank you so much for your time today. I know it was beneficial, certainly for myself, but also for the audience. And with that, I wish you and our audience a good rest of your day, evening, morning, or wherever you may be in the world. Take care. Good day.